there were constant accusations that Cam disapproved of the fact that he believed Chrissy was dictating Jim's business decisions. Some even said Cam attempted to persuade. Although it seemed like innocuous barber hop chatter at the time, Jim leaving her to concentrate on music in order to be less domesticated may have been the genesis of the silent seething bitterness that built over decades, and Camron may have just let all of that old hostility to explode in the most unsettling way possible with a single leak, according to those close to the case who talked to us. For their own safety, they would like to remain anonymous and state that the film was shot more than 10 years ago. It was a private moment that was never intended to be seen, but yet it occurred. But this is where things become even more suspect. One source claims that the film was kept on a now defunct Dipset hard drive, which was only ever accessible by a select few. Cam claimed that the crew's breakup in the middle of 2010 was a coincidence or a planned act of retaliation, which made it much more surprising. A few days prior to the leak, Cam and Jim were seen laughing like old friends while posing for photos, and even hinting at a potential reunion tour of the Dipset at a Rock Nation brunch. If this leak truly originated from Cam's team, was Jim Jones played nice while planning to blow a bomb, but he didn't remain silent for long. Less than 24 hours after the video went viral, Jim Jones shared a only 3 words. "I see you." Fans erupted in comments on his Instagram story. "It's Cam. He did it. Dipset dead forever. Jim going solo watch." Then, the big clapback occurred on Jim let loose on Instagram Live in an unfiltered raw live stream that attracted over 100,000 people in a matter of minutes. There was no script or public relations team involved, just sheer anger and sadness. "I don't care what you think." Jim spat into the camera, saying, "You don't touch family. You don't play with my woman." This man has been envious of me since the beginning. The video wasn't sent accidentally, and the comment section was meant to damage me. Was on fire. Viewers were crying, and even seasoned Dipset fans were taking sides. But Jim continued by bringing up old stuff. "This is the same man that broke me off. The same individual who told labels that I was untrustworthy and that I held this crew down, wants to disparage Chrissy now. You are a clown. A clown. And it wasn't just a personal attack. I ran out of tour money in 2011. At this time, the internet was ablaze with think pieces, podcast segments, and Twitter spaces discussing whether Jim was being emotional or not. It was no longer betrayal. It was a public declaration of war, or whether Cam had truly overreached himself, and the fact that he remained mute only served to exacerbate the situation. No tweet, no comment, no denial, which in the court of public's opinion is in the meantime. Chrissy Lampkin, who is known for maintaining calm under pressure, made an uncommon move of her own by unfollowing Cam on all platforms, deleted all of the pictures that featured him, and left a mysterious message on her profile. Some of the scars were too deep to overlook, but we all realized that this was betrayal, not simply beef. As if things couldn't get much more nasty, an unnamed insider revealed something even more sinister. Alleged text communications between Cam and an unidentified industry acquaintance, talking about intend to release something spicily offensive in order to harm Jim's reputation prior to a significant business transaction. If those messages are authentic, this is more than just small-scale drama. It is career sabotage. To make matters worse, Cam has yet to retract the claims, which raises the question of whether Cam knew this, or if he truly didn't do it. Why isn't he defending himself? And why remain mute while your name is being dragged through digital hell? One day, leak, but preparing a full-scale smear effort to ruin his professional name. One letter purportedly said, "Let's hit him where it hurts his woman." The right amount of dirt can break him down. Cam's nasty game of retaliation used everything Jim Jones held dear, including his money, followers, and his lady. The message also explained how this industry Jim's Instagram Live shifted the game and the discourse completely. It was no longer just about the video. It was about the guy who reportedly advised Cam to keep it low-key. Whole legacy of Dipset, the public's opinion of the crew, was about to suffer greatly, with both industry insiders and fans beginning to wonder if all those years of devotion were his Cam behind this. Was he covertly involved in a business transaction gone wrong? The internet was ablaze with half-truths, facts, and speculations. Everyone was a detective, attempting to force Jim out of Dipset all along. Could this be a calculated attempt to retake the group? Let's take a moment to consider whether Cam actually leaked that video as part of a bigger. The most premeditated act in hip-hop history would be to plan to destroy Jim. Imagine taking down a brother who has committed the greatest personal betrayals, which would harm not only his profession, but his private life in the B process, while remaining silent. The fact that Cam didn't confront it right away only encouraged others who were interested in his history to delve deeper, and some unsettling trends started to show up. In a Twitter thread that shocked the internet, fans unearthed several previous pictures of Cam with other rappers' ex-friends who had been cast. Once they were useless, it became evident that Cam wasn't only known for hitting, he was also known for creating enemies. If you cross him, you're done. His power move was to utilize the silent treatment. Since Cam knew that the public would turn against Jim when he stayed silent, he had already won. He was watching the performance. But this is where things become pretty shady, according to some. Apparently, the leaks didn't end with Chrissy's film. No, we're talking about pictures, private conversations, and bank records that were given to a number of blogs and dubious websites that were more than glad to propagate the rumors. And guess what? An unidentified third party, who had previously been connected to both Cam and Jim, was in charge of the leaks. This is where things get crazy. According to reports, a group known as the Puppet Master contacted Jim and Cam separately, offering them exclusive interviews and deals. They even attempted to arrange a purported reunion between the two of them. But there's a catch. They wanted to dominate the story, make money out of the conflict, make it public, and make the entire thing into a spectacle. Was evidently intensify the conflict to the point where the two ex-brothers were unable to make amends. This wasn't merely business, it was personal, and it was the final betrayal. So, at the core of it all, is Cam Jim truly manipulating things? Or is there something far more sinister at work? Whatever the reality is, we cannot overlook the consequences of this scandal. Is going to impact not just their friendship, but also their legacy, music, fans, and lives. And we have only just begun. Thus, this is the last episode. The destruction in this breathtaking story is not only personal, it is also public. And by public, we mean explosive. As two legends clash in the greatest, the entire industry shudders in the most disastrous way imaginable. It's not just about Jim and Cam anymore. It's about the entire culture of ambition, treachery, and loyalty. It simultaneously keeps the hip-hop community together and causes its disintegration. As the world witnessed this feud intensify into something even more heinous, began to arise. The financial consequences of this treachery were beginning to strike more forcefully than any song or lyric. Business partners were abandoning him one by one as he tried to rebuild his own career, questioning whether the possible PR catastrophe of siding with the rapper was worth it. Unusual allegations circulated regarding unfulfilled contracts, dubious financial transactions, and even claims that Cam was being sued by a former label executive over alleged financial mismanagement made it obvious that the drama was about survival rather than just the music, and that Cam and Jim needed to make some difficult choices quickly, or risk losing everything, followed by the litigation, which were the actual commercial implications of the aftermath. It seemed as though a legal storm had just arrived, bringing with it a barrage of accusations, counterclaims, and payouts. Initially, it was Jim Jones's turn. According to reports, Jim had formally sued Camron for defamation, charging him with slander, conspiracy, and emotional distress. Insiders claim that Jim's legal team was ready to fight it all the way to court because of the leaked video and the public attacks that followed on his personal life. Holding back, what was even more stunning was the allegation that Jim was demanding a public apology from Cam and millions of dollars in damages. The assertion was so audacious that it shocked even the most. Unexpectedly, Camron wasn't going to take this lying down. Instead, he responded with a counterclaim, claiming that Jim had been extorting him for years, accused Jim of stealing money and manipulating business transactions through their connection, and now he was pursuing a sizable settlement himself. Amidst all of this turmoil, legal experts forecast that the public's perception of both men, began to deteriorate daily as the case continued for years. Could this be the end of their careers and their legacies? This is where the supporters who have been there for them from the start, who understand every word and have worn every Dipset chain as if it were their own, are the ones experiencing heartbreak. Fans were first unsure of whom to believe as a result of this mess, which is tearing them apart. Some sided with Jim, saying that Cam had crossed a boundary, while others said that Cam had good reason to feel betrayed. The underdog story was strong after years of seeing Jim take a backseat, but it was difficult to overlook the widening gap between the two groups of Dipset fans at this point. When the bombshells arrived, fans began to delve deeper into the story, and the more they discovered, the more their allegiance was shattered. Following the video breach, leaked footage revealed Jim's emotional collapse went viral after he was shown in one very eerie video, questioning his entire career. "Is this how they really feel about me, after everything we've been through?" he mumbled as he looked at. His only public reaction was a tweet that said, "Sometimes the truth hurts, but it has to be said. No clarification, no." Cam, on the other hand, remained unconcerned and became silent once more. The more he remained silent, the more people started to see a different side of him. His apology was just a cold, planned statement that only served to fan the fires. A cunning, self-interested businessman who will stop at nothing to maintain power. Some fans defended their favorite musician on social media, while others abandoned ship. The industry noticed that the entire Dipset fanbase was split apart, and the more they quarreled, the less influence they had. The unity they had before was eroding, and both men were accountable, was getting out of hand. At this point, we must consider whether there is any chance for reconciliation, whether Jim and Cam can ever mend what's wrong, or whether their conflict is actually at the end of the Dipset era. The legacy they have built over the years is in jeopardy. Their place in hip-hop history is at stake, not only their reputations. After everything that has transpired, the question remains, will there be any resolution to this? As the lawsuits mount, public sentiment changes, and the music industry waits. One thing is certain, the story is not yet finished. The last chapters are still to be written. But for the time being, it is still unclear who will win this titanic conflict between broken relationships. Betrayal and brotherhood is the truth about the conflict between Camron and Jim Jones, the shattered bond, and the explosive fallout that is causing a stir in the hip-hop community. However, the true question is this: who's in the wrong here? Was it Jim's own ambition and greed that ignited the fire? Or was Cam's betrayal the catalyst? Please let me know in the comments section below whether you believe they can. If you like this in-depth look into the pandemonium, please remember to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and of course, let us know if you think things will ever be resolved, or if Dipset's reign is coming to an end. That concludes today's jaw-dropping story. But subscribe for more explosive stuff. I promise you won't want to miss what's coming next. The world is watching, and the drama is far from finished. Before you leave, I would like to know if you believe Jim Jones had the right to target Camron in this way, or if Camron was treated unfairly throughout this entire situation. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please let me know in the section below if you're on Team Jim or Team Cam, or if you believe that this whole situation has been a complete disaster from the beginning. Hit that. What are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate alerts to ensure you're the first to find out when the next wild story will be released. Believe me, you don't want to pass up. What's next? We're just beginning to begin, and you wish to attend the actual tea. So please remember to leave a like and remark, and distribute this video to maintain keep the conversation going till the next time. Keep your eyes open, pay attention, and as always, we're not scared since we know the truth. To reveal, I'll see you in the following one.